This is the second video about Experience Builder. The first video showed how to put a map and look at the data contained on that map. And what we're going to do in this video is look at several more tools and widgets that we can add to our Experience Builder canvas. Now we want to be careful to make sure that we don't clutter the canvas too much. So we're going to show one tool and then we'll delete that tool and show another tool. It is strongly suggested that the user pause the video after watching one widget being used and then trying it themselves and then restarting the video to look at the next tool. Now the first tool that we're going to try is going to be the legend tool. I'm going to just drag it onto my map, or to my canvas I should say. Notice this is the selected area. This changed because now it's legend. So we can come in here and rename what this is. We could say this is winery. It wants to know where is the data for this legend. Now this is not going to be a very interesting legend because we only really have one item and they're all wineries in all the same color and things on our map. So we're going to come in here though and say it's coming from map 1. That was the original name of this map. Notice that winery immediately shows up here. Obviously if this was going to be a working map, I would change the size of this to something like that and maybe, you know, put it over like here, or maybe make it a long bar like that. But again, there is only one item that we had to select, so this is the legend that goes along with this map. So that's how the legend works. We're gonna make sure that that's the selected one. I'm gonna press delete. And the next one that I want to show is chart. So I'm going to click on chart and drag it in. Well, let's drag it down here on the bottom a little bit. So we can see that we have the chart widget. Over here on my right, you can see that we have chart 1, and I can rename this just to be chart, let's say, and I can select the data. Well, the only data set that I have loaded, and the data set must be loaded, is the winery map. You click on the little plus, and there we go, and we selected it. Select chart. We've got column charts and bar charts. I'm going to select the first one. And notice now we have more information here. So I'm going to say by group. The field that I'm going to do is state, and I'm going to do a count of that field. So I want to know how many of each state has been visited. So if I look at my map here, we can see there's a lot around Indiana and Kentucky that's been visited, several in New York and Ohio. And so we have said the chart is going to show the states on the horizontal axis because that's what we're grouping by. And this is the number of items that we have. So we have well over 30 in Indiana. How do I know that's Indiana? Well, let's just pull the bar chart apart a little bit longer and we can see Indiana, Kentucky, and so on. And we can see that these are displayed in an alphabetical order. And so there I've created a nice simple chart. I don't have a lot of choices in charts. Other software packages have more choices of types of charts, but Experience Builder only gives me a few choices, so I might do something like dock that there, and using the snapping feature I can see that I've lined that up, and that might be the chart that I put on. So we're going to delete the chart, just again not to clutter up my canvas. And I'm going to go to text, which is down here on the bottom left side. And text, as its name indicates, is I can type anything I want. So this might be the title. So let's see, this is winery experience builder site, and I can highlight that, and I can come over here and then format it and say, okay, this is going to be centered. You can see that's changed. I can come in here and I can say we're going to make that bold. I can change my font face, so let's change it to Times New Roman. I can change my font size, so we can come in here and make it 30 point. And I'm going to click on my bar here. There's my text. You can see, well, that it's not looking great, but not terrible. We'll worry about that a little bit more. And you can see we can do things like character effects, so we can do something like that. And we can take this and pull it up where we want it. Select Winery Experience Builder there. I can pull it over a little bit there. It's not all one line. And we've got a title. So there's a lot of things I can do with text, but it's very simple to configure the text. So let's get rid of the text. Just again, not to clutter up items, and I'm going to choose images, or image, and I'm going to pull it over. And notice this has changed, so I can set the link for my image. So that would be selecting it by like a hyperlink if I wanted to do that. Or I can come back over here, close this, and I can just say select image, and I already have one image loaded. I did that previously. That's a local file. I'm going to say there it is, upload. Whoops, sorry, didn't need to do that. There, I've selected it. I can come in here now and drag it and reposition it to make it look the way I want it to look, and put it wherever I want. So doing an image is very simple, and you can see how you can do things with an image. So again, we will delete that. We're going to go to survey. This is a very powerful one in my mind. I'm going to put it in there. Notice this column has changed again. I'm going to select from an existing survey. It wants me to select the survey. So I've got all these different surveys there. It doesn't matter what I select right now. We're just showing how this works. We'll just choose this tree inventory. Notice the survey 1, 2, 3 icon comes up. I'm going to say insert. It's going to take a few moments to load. And there's my survey. And you can see that I can select what type of tree it is, but this was a tree survey. It goes nothing along with the winery. I just chose a survey to select. I'm just showing that you can put a survey in. You can also create your own survey right in Experience Builder. I tend not to do that because I like using an existing survey, like a survey 1, 2, 3 situation. So I like to use the survey 1, 2, 3 software, create the survey in that software, and then bring it into my Experience Builder page. This is the same type of thing that we showed before, where we had a survey loaded already. So you can see that's my survey. I can edit the survey. I wouldn't normally do that. I normally go back to survey 1, 2, 3 to do my edits. And you can see I can show a survey header, for example. Show the survey description if one was placed in there, and so forth, using the information over on the right hand side. So again, we bring the item in. Over on the right hand side shows up the parameters that we can modify. So I'm going to get rid of this. Again, I'm not deleting the survey. All I'm doing is taking it off my canvas. So I'm going to press delete and it disappears. I'm going to choose a card. So let's see here. There's card. I'm going to drag it in. There's lots of formatting of cards that we can choose. Think of a card as being a link to another web page or to other information. So I can choose the type of card that I want, if I want it to be more of an image or what type. I'm just going to use the default and press start. So when I do that, the first thing it wants to do is set a link. And I'm going to choose that the link is going to be a URL. And it wants to know how to open that link. If you're going to open it in this window or you're going to open it in some other window. I'm just going to say open it in a new window. So I've got to enter the URL. It needs to be a secure link. I'm going to just enter the geotechcenter.org as my link. And now the whole card becomes this link. I'm going to hit enter and say OK. And just to show that I'm going to save my work, I'm going to preview my work. I'm going to click on this card. And now notice it opens the Geotech Center. I'm going to close that. I'm going to close my preview. Go back here. I can also change the title of the card, obviously. So it's called Card 1 right now. I can give it a name that makes sense for what I'm doing. I can change who created it. I can change when it was created, all those type of things. And I can also format a button. So if I want to set what the button's going to be, again, I can tell it it's going to be a URL. I can tell it what the URL is going to be if I make it the same as we had before. I can do that. I can name what the text is going to be on the button. As you can see there, I've named the text. Notice it changed on the button. I can change the size of it on the button there, so I made the button a little bit bigger. So you can format this. You can put an image here. The image can come from a hyperlink or it can come locally. So let's select an image there. I'm going to say it's local. I'm going to use this one that I already have. And there you can see it in there. And then I can come in here and I can format this image to look the way that I want it to look. So my cards can be made. And again, I can change the size of my cards and the information on it. So the card basically is a hyperlink mechanism that's going to take me to potentially another web page. So for example, in this experience builder, I could have built a card to take us to another site that gives us information about experience builder. So you can see how that works. So again, I'm going to come in here and delete this. And the last one that I'm going to show you how it works, and I think it's a very powerful one, is the bookmark. So I'm going to click on the bookmark and drag it in here. And when I first started using this, and I saw these 3 bookmarks, it sort of confused me. What's it's all about? And that's what I'm going to show you here. So I'm going to click Next. And I'm going to select Map 1. So the bookmarks that we're going to generate are going to show up here for Map 1. So I'm going to tell it to add a bookmark. And it brings me this window to set the bookmark up. Now this is a bookmark that everybody's going to be able to see, not just yourself, like some of the bookmarks you may have set in other items. So this first one I'm going to make is going to be wineries around Lake Erie. So I'm going to zoom into Lake Erie to whatever I want it to look like. And here's an item that I missed the first time I did this, and that was the save button. But before we use the save button, let's name this bookmark. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to name this bookmark Lake Erie. So I've given it a name. I'm going to hit enter. So you can see the name is changed over here, and I'm going to say save. And then I'm going to add another bookmark. And this bookmark is going to be Lake Seneca in New York State. So there's Lake Seneca. These are the Finger Lakes of the state of New York. I'm going to rename the bookmark. Let's get back over here. There we go. And let's go back just a little bit. So I'm going to call this Lake Seneca. I'm going to, okay, we got that there. I'm going to say save. So now we've saved that bookmark. Let's do a couple more. I'm going to add another bookmark. This one's going to be Southern Indiana. So let's go find where Southern Indiana is. I'm just going to pan and change my zoom level. There we go. So we can see some in northern Kentucky, and we can see the wineries of southern Indiana and a little bit of northern Indiana. So we're going to save that as another bookmark. We already named it, so we're good there. And I'm going to add one more bookmark. And this bookmark I'm going to name Whole Country. Because one of the things I find is, I'm done looking at my bookmarks and I want to look at the whole country again. And therefore, to make a bookmark for the whole country seems to make sense. I could use the home button as well, but I found this works pretty well. So I'm going to just make a whole country map there. I'm going to save my view. And so now I have saved this. I am going to close my zoom window. Whoops, I missed getting this last one maybe in there. No, there it is. I need to pull it over so that I can see all four of them. And I am going to move this and maybe align it there and maybe spread it out a little bit, something like that. So I've got my bookmarks now created. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save my work at this point. And I'm going to preview my work. So here's the work. You can see my bookmarks. My map is loading. And we've got our attribute table showing up here. And so let's click on Lake Seneca. There we zoomed into Lake Seneca. And so you can see we're in that area. And now we're going to zoom over to Lake Erie. There's Lake Erie. Looks like I didn't get my zoom level quite right. I can go back and modify that, and we'll do that in just a moment. Here's southern Indiana. There we go. There's the whole country. It looks good. But this Lake Erie one, we need to be zoomed in tighter, and we didn't get that. So I'm going to close the preview. So now I'm back here. I'm going to select Lake Erie. Here. There it is. Select it. Change the zoom level. That's what this little guy here is going to do. So there we are. We're going to zoom in and pan a little bit. That looks much better. I'm going to save it. And I'm going to save my work. I'm going to preview it. Now remember, this isn't published work at this point. There's Lake Seneca, there's southern Indiana. Now let's look at Lake Erie. That looks much better. So you can see that we can modify sites. And of course, since this is our active map, if we select an item, the pop-up will show up, as well as taking us to the attribute table for that item. There's two items fairly close together. So if I change, notice they changed over here as well. And so you can see that we've built this Experience Builder website. So again, I think the way to use this video is to watch how I did one of the widgets or tools, then to go in and do it yourself. Pause, go do it. If you need to, rewind it, play it again, until you feel comfortable. With all these widgets, they work pretty much the same way. Over on the left-hand side, we have a list of widgets. We select and drag it. We can then move that widget any place we want to on our open canvas. And then on the right-hand side, we get the features that we can control that widget. And there's lots of features there. I only showed a few features. So this is how you should build a site using the Experience Builder. You can also add pages, and maybe I should show you that before I leave this. So we can add pages to our Experience Builder site. So we're on page 1 here. And we can come in here, go to the page, and I can say add, and I can tell it what kind of page I want to add. Remember, we started with just a blank full screen, and that's my suggestion to you, but you could also use one of the templates. So not only do we have the horizontal and the vertical canvas that we're looking at, we also have depth, so we can have multiple canvases. So one of the things I could do with the Experience Builder is I could take each of my surveys that I've created over the years. I could have a page for each one of those displaying the information plus the survey that I can go on and live complete in Experience Builder, plus showing the data, and the data changes as I use it. So for example, I travel a fair amount collecting information. I might have all my different collection of information surveys all within one single Experience Builder. Enjoy.